Do you think there might be a major U.S. carrier that just has to go out of business?
Yes, most likely. Traffic levels will not be back to 100%. They won't even be back to 25.
The COVID-19 pandemic has devastated the travel industry, and the airline companies have been facing the brunt of it. Airports have basically turned into parking lots for planes, and many of them are made by the aircraft manufacturing giant Boeing.
Apocalyptic does actually accurately describe the moment.
Boeing has made zero sales of its commercial airplanes for the second month in 2020. In contrast, the U.S. company delivered an average of 67 planes a month 2 years ago. In its first quarter of this year, the company lost more than $600 million. More than 100 plane orders were canceled in April. And the company is slashing its workforce, 160,000 people, by about 10%. This all comes after a catastrophic 2019, which saw the company's entire fleet of 737 MAX aircraft grounded after 2 deadly crashes.
The 737 was by far the best-selling airplane that Boeing had, and it's also an aircraft that costs less to make because it was a new version of an existing airplane.
The European company Airbus has replaced Boeing as the world's biggest plane maker. But now, both of these companies are suffering because of the pandemic, and so are the airlines they serve. World passenger traffic may see the worst dip in decades, meaning airlines might lose up to $400 billion in gross operating revenues. The pandemic is creating a weak market, and people are taking advantage of this by investing in Boeing stocks. The Saudi Arabia Sovereign Wealth Fund recently bought a more than $700 million stake in the company. The Trump administration recently offered U.S. companies like Boeing billions of dollars in loans, but it opted out of government help after raising billions in a bond offering, the company's biggest debt sale ever. What will be a big factor in Boeing's comeback after the pandemic is how travel habits might change. A lot of that will likely depend on the airlines and what is being done to make people feel safer.
We are finding faster and faster ways to sanitize or to clean aircraft with a certain degree of rigor. And so these will all help the airlines get back in the air and start to generate revenue faster, which will, of course, have a positive knock-on effect for Boeing.
As long as we can demonstrate the safety of our industry, the safety of our airplane experience, we believe we will return to a growth rate similar to the past, but it might take us 3-5 years to get there.
Once we get to a point with the COVID-19 challenge, that either we have an effective antiviral or we have a vaccine that works in the majority of the population and it can be distributed globally, then air travel will begin to reignite.
With global tourism expected to drop by up to 80% this year, the entire airline industry, including Boeing, will have to ultimately cater to a new world that may be nervous to hop on a plane again. Thanks for watching Global News. If you want to stay up to date on the latest breaking national and international news, be sure to subscribe to our channel.